the first pontiff from the Americas, first Jesuit pope, first non-European in almost 1,300 years.
And now the curtains part, and the new pope emerges onto the balcony.
Pope Francis has led the Catholic Church through one of its most transformative eras, captivating hearts worldwide with his messages of peace, reform, and inclusivity.
The world is remembering and honoring the man known as the People's Pope. Pope Francis died today at 88 years old.
But now, with the news of his passing, the world stands at a crossroads. His death marks the end of an era for the Church and raises important questions about what comes next.
Take a look now at what happens next as preparations are made for Francis's funeral and the process of electing a new pope.
What happens to Vatican City, the smallest sovereign state in the world, when its leader passes? How does the Catholic Church move forward after the loss of such a pivotal figure? Let's take a closer look at what the future holds. The legacy of Pope Francis. Pope Francis's impact on the Catholic Church is undeniable. From his first days as Pope, he quickly gained a reputation for his commitment to reform and social justice. His leadership focused on caring for the poor, advocating for climate change awareness, and reaching out to marginalized communities.
Pope has this morning released an important new document on the environment and climate change,
including refugees and the LGBTQ+ community. He reshaped the Church's approach to many sensitive issues, urging for compassion and dialogue rather than strict doctrinal adherence. Beyond his reforms, Pope Francis played a pivotal role in fostering interfaith relationships, particularly between Catholics and other religious groups, such as Muslims and Jews. His efforts to create peace in the Middle East and promote global diplomacy highlighted the Church's role in influencing world affairs. His encyclicals, speeches, and visits around the world addressed the pressing issues of our time, including economic inequality, environmental concerns, and global conflict. For many, Pope Francis wasn't just a spiritual leader. He was a global figure of moral authority. Pope Francis's death marks the loss of a pope who was not only a symbol of religious leadership, but also a powerful force in modern geopolitics and social justice.
Pope Francis, first Latin American pontiff, has died. According to the Vatican, the Pope died at 7:35 local time.
His legacy will be felt for generations to come. But as we mourn his passing, we must now consider what happens next in Vatican City. Vatican City, a sovereign entity. Vatican City holds a unique place in the world. Not only is it the spiritual center of the Catholic Church, but it is also a sovereign city-state. This tiny independent nation, with its 110-acre territory, sits entirely within the city of Rome, Italy. Established in 1929 through the Lateran Treaty, Vatican City is governed by the Pope, who serves both as the head of state and the spiritual leader of over 1.3 billion Catholics worldwide. Despite its small size, Vatican City wields significant influence. It is home to iconic landmarks such as St. Peter's Basilica and the Sistine Chapel, and it hosts the Holy See, which oversees the administrative functions of the Catholic Church. The Vatican's political and religious authority extends far beyond its borders, shaping international diplomacy and global religious discourse. The Pope's death is not just a spiritual loss, it is also a significant political event. During the period of sede vacante, the vacancy of the papacy, Vatican City temporarily loses its head of state. This vacancy raises critical questions about the day-to-day operations of the Vatican and the governance of the Catholic Church until a new pope is elected. With the loss of Pope Francis, the Vatican faces an uncertain future. But first, let's explore what happens immediately following his death. Immediate reactions and procedures. Once Pope Francis passes away, the Vatican quickly enters a state of mourning and preparation. The first official step is the announcement of his death, which the Vatican's press office typically makes. Immediately, flags at Vatican City are lowered to half-mast, and the faithful around the world begin to prepare, known as the period of grief. This is a time for reflection, remembrance, and a final tribute to the Pope's life and work. Following the announcement, the Vatican's key officials, including the Cardinal Secretary of State, began preparations for the Pope's funeral. The funeral, typically held in St. Peter's Basilica, is a grand and solemn occasion, attended by leaders from around the world, religious figures, and millions of mourners. The ceremony represents not only a religious observance, but also a global event marking the end of an era for the Catholic Church. Simultaneously, the Vatican enters a state of sede vacante, which means vacancy of the throne. During this time, the papal duties are temporarily suspended. The College of Cardinals, the body of senior church officials who are responsible for electing the next pope, prepares to convene for the conclave. The conclave is a highly secretive process in which the cardinals gather to vote for the next leader of the Catholic Church. This period of transition is crucial, as it ensures that the Church's administrative functions continue smoothly while preparations are made for electing a new pope. The conclave, electing the next pope. The most critical event following the death of Pope Francis is the conclave, a centuries-old tradition in which the College of Cardinals gathers to elect a new pope. The conclave takes place in the Sistine Chapel, under strict secrecy, and with meticulous protocol to ensure that the election is fair and free from external influence. The conclave is initiated after a period of mourning, and only cardinals who are under the age of 80 are eligible to vote. The College of Cardinals, which typically comprises around 120 members, is responsible for electing the new leader of the Catholic Church. They convene behind closed doors, where they cast their votes in a series of rounds until one cardinal secures a 2/3 majority. The election process is marked by intense deliberation and prayer. Each cardinal casts their vote on a paper ballot, which is burned after each round. The famous white smoke that emerges from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel signifies the election of a new pope. If no decision is reached, the cardinals continue voting until a clear winner is chosen. The choice of the new pope is not just a spiritual one, it is also deeply political. Cardinals will consider the Church's needs, the direction it should take, and the qualities of the candidates. Speculation often surrounds potential papal candidates, with some viewed as reformers, while others favor a more traditional approach to church doctrine. Once a new pope is elected, he will appear on the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica to address the world and formally accept his new role. This moment marks the end of the sede vacante and the beginning of a new chapter for the Catholic Church. The future of Vatican City and its role in the world. With the election of a new pope, the future of Vatican City and the Catholic Church begins to take shape. Vatican City is not only the spiritual center of the Church, it is also a sovereign state with its own distinct political, economic, and diplomatic functions. The Pope holds both spiritual and temporal authority, guiding the direction of the Church as well as the governance of Vatican City. The new Pope will have the power to drive significant changes within the Church. If the successor chooses to continue Pope Francis's focus on social justice, environmental stewardship, and interfaith dialogue, the Vatican could maintain its current global influence. Pope Francis's progressive stance on issues such as poverty, climate change, and human rights has resonated with many, and his successor may wish to continue these initiatives. This would further solidify Vatican City's role as a moral authority on the global stage, especially in matters of peace and human rights. However, the new pope could choose to return to more traditional Catholic teachings, which could alter the Church's relationship with the outside world. A more conservative stance might shift Vatican City's political alliances and influence its interactions with other nations and regions. Regardless of the path the new pope chooses, Vatican City will continue to play a critical role in global diplomacy. As a neutral entity, it remains a mediator in conflicts, an advocate for peace, and a symbol of unity across religious and national boundaries. The impact on Catholicism worldwide. The death of Pope Francis will have far-reaching consequences for Catholics worldwide. As the spiritual leader of over 1.3 billion people, his passing will create a deep sense of loss and uncertainty among the faithful. Pope Francis was not just a religious leader, but a symbol of unity for Catholics. His death marks the end of an era of leadership that emphasized humility, compassion, and social justice. In the days and weeks following his death,
Pope Francis has died. That's come from the Vatican.
Millions will mourn the loss of a pope who advocated for the marginalized, focused on climate change, and addressed poverty and human rights. His progressive approach resonated especially with younger generations, His passing will prompt many to ask whether the Church will continue on its path of reform or return to a more traditional approach with a new leader. Now first, like always, be sure to hit the like button down below. It helps us out tremendously with the reach of this video. Thank you. The transition to a new pope will raise questions about the future direction of Catholic teachings. Will the next pope maintain the momentum of Pope Francis's reforms, or will he shift the Church's focus back to traditional doctrines? The uncertainty surrounding this change will leave many Catholics eagerly awaiting answers on how the Church will evolve to meet modern challenges. Additionally, the new Pope's stance on issues such as clergy abuse scandals, interfaith relations, and the role of women in the Church will significantly impact the Church's future direction and influence for years to come. The death of Pope Francis is a momentous event that will reshape the Catholic Church and Vatican City. His leadership brought significant reforms focused on social justice, environmental issues, and interfaith dialogue. As the Church moves into a new era with the election of a new pope, the direction it takes will depend on the leader chosen. Whether it's a continuation of Pope Francis's vision or a return to tradition, the future of the Church is now in the hands of his successor.